Tonight, despite an announcement to resume in February last week, SUNYAC reverses their decision and cancels winter sports. What this means for beloved OSWGEO traditions like whiteout.
And cases of coronavirus top 40 million worldwide, raising concerns of a second wave. Why Dr. Fauci says the nation should not shut down.
And as we celebrate Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we learn about tattoo artists who heals breast cancer survivor scars.
WTOP 10 Nightly News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm Danny Hernandez.
And I'm Brianna Lynn.
The SUNYAC made a decision to cancel winter sports across the conference today, despite the conference's announcement last week with a goal to start the season by February. The SUNYAC president's chair made the decision out of an abundance of caution to protect the health and safety of students and staff.
The decision means SUNY Oswego's hockey, basketball, and track and field teams will not play this year. Our sports director, Brian RUDMAN, has more.
Thanks, guys. A disappointing day for Oswego State athletes and the community as a whole. As you mentioned, the SUNYAC announced the cancellation of the winter season earlier today. It came as a bit of a shock as it's been just 2 weeks since the schedule was announced. In fact, I talked to Interim Director of Athletics here at Oswego State, Eric Summers, that very week, and Summers was pleased with the plan they had come up with for the winter season. And while he acknowledged the possibility of the season being canceled out of an abundance of caution, it certainly did not seem like something to expect so soon. Certainly a sad day for everyone, but particularly for those athletes who are going to miss out on their senior seasons.
Brian, just a week after another round of surveillance testing, SUNY Oswego will continue flu immunization clinics this week in partnership with Wegmans Pharmacy. Flu shots will be offered to all students and staff this Wednesday and Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the space in the BROWNE Campus Center. Spaces are limited. Students and patients are asked to register in advance.
Shooting took place at a Bronx restaurant this morning, killing one and injuring two others. The shooting occurred at the restaurant Mix Tech, which is located in the Fordham Heights section of the Bronx near Jerome Avenue. The shooting had one fatality, with a 19-year-old woman being declared dead at St. Barnabas Hospital, while the two men who were injured are currently in stable condition. The shooter has not been caught yet.
President Trump announces a deal with CVS and WALGREENS to distribute COVID-19 vaccines when they become available to the public. Trump also announced that the companies will be able to deliver the vaccines to senior citizens who are in nursing homes. CVS and WALGREENS will reportedly schedule days and times to come to care facilities to administer the vaccine. Both companies said that they think 3 visits over 2 months will be enough to vaccinate the residents and staff of these nursing homes.
Today, I'm thrilled to announce that we have just finalized a partnership with CVS and WALGREENS, 2 places you know pretty well, I guess, to immediately deliver the vaccine directly to nursing homes at no cost to our seniors, no cost.
Amid the news from the president, CVS plans to hire 15,000 new employees who can administer the flu vaccines at their pharmacies. The increase in hiring of pharmacy technicians is due to the increasing flu and COVID-19 cases in the communities around the country.
Coronavirus cases are now past 40 million, and as COVID-19 infections continue to soar across the U.S., experts say following public health measures is the way out of the crisis, but that a shutdown is not the answer.
The predicted fall surge is here, according to some health experts.
If we don't take this seriously now, we are going to find ourselves in a very difficult position in just weeks to maybe a month or so.
Worldwide, more than 40 million people have tested positive for COVID-19.
We have an increasing number of positive people.
And while cases are increasing in Europe, cities in Spain, the UK, and France are resisting centralized efforts to impose tighter regulations.
The current time is about action, is about unity, is about solidarity.
But with cases surging in Wales, the First Minister is implementing a 2-week shutdown.
This fire break is the shortest we can make it, but that means that it will have to be sharp and deep in order to have the impact we need it to have on the virus.
Though the U.S. is now averaging 55,000 new cases per day, Dr. Anthony Fauci says a nationwide lockdown is not the way forward.
We can get control at the same time without shutting down.
This despite the COVID fatigue.
Universal wearing of masks, keeping a distance, avoiding congregate settings.
I'm Camila Bernal reporting.
Despite the rise in cases across the globe, the infection rate on SUNY Oswego's campus and across New York State still appear to be low. There are only 4 active cases on SUNY Oswego's campus following a second round of surveillance testing last week. The statewide infection rate sits at 1.21%.
The New York State Department of Health released a draft COVID-19 vaccination administration program that serves as a framework for ensuring the safe distribution of COVID-19 vaccines in New York when one is available. The plan will rely on collaboration between the federal government and local health departments. Governor Cuomo continues to express that the plan needs federal cooperation in order to work.
Cayuga Medical Center is temporarily banning visitors due to the uptick of COVID-19 cases in the area. Tompkins County has over 90 new cases since October 1st. Many of the infected individuals have stated that they do not know where they came in contact with the virus. The ban comes shortly after the county reported its first coronavirus death. The hospital says they will need to lift the ban in cases of emergencies and birth.
Congressman John KATKO and opponent Dana Balter had a heated debate today over how each of them ran their campaigns. The hour-long debate consisted of KATKO and Balter accusing each other of running negative campaign ads. KATKO accused Balter of criminal activity and Balter accused KATKO of taking money from political action committees. The 2 congressional candidates have 2 more debates before the election on November 3rd.
New York State will begin to enforce the ban on single-use plastic bags starting today. The ban was introduced earlier this year, but due to deals with the plastic companies and COVID-19, it was not enforced. The Department of Environmental Conservation says they want New Yorkers to shop with reusable bags whenever possible and take the right precautions to keep reusable bags clean.
Coming up, coronavirus cases across Europe continue to rise, but hospitalizations in Spain are down. Our international correspondent, Tomas Rodriguez, talks to healthcare workers in Spain.
And a tattoo artist in North Carolina uses her art to benefit former breast cancer patients.
But first, Michael, tell us about all the rain we've been seeing today. Will there be any more?
Over the next 24 to 36 hours. Oswego and surrounding areas have only seen rain in the around ½ an inch. I'll go into more why we need this rain and your 7-day forecast after the break. Good evening, everybody. I'm Storm Team 10 meteorologist Michael Brown, here to look at your weather ahead. First, I just wanted to jump back with our precipitation that we've seen so far over the last day. Only about ½ an inch so far. It's been a pretty gloomy day. Maybe it has some people down, but this rain is actually much needed. Much of the Northeast is in a slight to moderate drought. For our area, we are in a moderate drought, and areas well east of us into southern New England are actually in quite an extreme drought. So this front coming through is much needed over the next 2 days. So just coming back to more current things, we have a lot of cloud cover in the way. We have more clouds coming in, and our temperatures were only in the low to mid 50s due to that large area of cloud cover and the rain, which we'll be seeing more. I'm going to time that out for you guys right now. So starting off tomorrow at 8 in the morning, we're going to expect more showers in the way. Temperatures only in the low 50s. As we go into the afternoon, the showers actually break up and become less prevalent. Temperatures will begin to drop into the evening. And going into Tuesday evening into Wednesday morning, there won't be much in the way of rain, but as we come into Wednesday morning, 8 a.m., we'll expect some more scattered showers to make their way in, but temperatures jump into the mid to upper 60s. We should expect some thunderstorms from the early afternoon around 2 p.m. and then it'll clear out for Wednesday. Temperatures only around 60. So just to time it out for you guys real quick, going to be looking at rain overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. That rain will make its way out. It will become clearer as we go into the late afternoon, and temperatures will drop into the lower 50s. So now let's take a look at our 7-day forecast. As you know, the rain will be here for Tuesday. Things warm up quite considerably to Wednesday. We might reach 70. We're expect a couple thunderstorms in the early afternoon. After that, we won't expect much in the way of rain for the next 2 days. Friday looks like a beautiful day right now with temperatures in the low 70s and not much in the way of rain. But going into our weekend, a front comes through and we cool down. I'm Storm Team 10 meteorologist Michael Brown. More news and sports after the break.
Welcome back to WTOP10 Nightly News. In Spain, medical residents are now able to practice in their area of expertise, something that was taken away from them when the state of emergency was declared nationwide back in March. Our Europe correspondent, Tomas Rodriguez, has their story.
As cases continue to spike in Spain, hospitalizations seem to remain lower than in March. Virologists and those working in the field of medicine allude to two major factors: a shift in the demographics and an earlier detection of new cases. Back in March, the situation required the help of retirees and medical residents, regardless of their area of expertise. The course of action adopted in March, mainly due to the rate at which new cases were reported and that the system was collapsed, was to redirect all residents, regardless of their specialty, so that they would be in charge of the hospital. This required health personnel, both veterans and residents, to be available 24/7, leading to a burnout among many of them, which resulted in strikes throughout last summer. I believe the pressure and burnout a lot of us suffered from played a role in us mobilizing. Carmen tells me that she is now able to practice in her own field of specialty. However, she is worried that if cases continue to spike like they did in March, that she will have to step down from those duties and take care of COVID patients. Danny, Brianna, back to you.
Thanks, Tomas. As we celebrate Breast Cancer Awareness Month, an artist from North Carolina specializes in hiding scars, but her work is described as more than skin deep.
Janine LaCourte is an artist. Painting was an early passion for her, but after her sister-in-law was diagnosed with breast cancer, she put down the paintbrush.
From my very first tattoo, I knew this is what I should be doing with my life.
Today, she walks the line between medicine and art, specializing in 3D nipple tattoos for people after breast cancer and scar camouflage.
And I understand how much weight a scar can hold. Sometimes you don't even realize what it's doing to you emotionally until you can have a resolution that helps hide it.
The healing is more than skin deep. Her patients say LaCourte's work has given them the confidence to move on, date again after a mastectomy, and apply for their dream jobs.
As much as I love doing this for people, I would love to never have to do this ever again, if it meant nobody else had cancer.
Behind the pink ribbons that surface every October is a poignant reminder to talk about prevention and the importance of catching it early.
You can't tie a pretty pink ribbon around what cancer is. But it is a chance to openly talk about something that affects every person, because literally everyone knows one person at least that has gone through breast cancer.
Whether it's a cancer survivor or someone looking to get rid of scars from accidents, surgeries, or self-harm, LaCourte says she keeps in touch with each of her patients.
They're part of my family, they're part of my friends now. Because I helped them through that journey. You know, I took them past the hard into what's the next phase of their life, and it's powerful to be a part of that.
As Janine LaCourte uses her artistic gift to help survivors, we are wearing pink tonight to show our support for breast cancer awareness. It is more than a walk, but a movement.
Carnival cruise ships came to the rescue in international waters off the coast of Florida. A sinking boat held 24 people, including 2 kids of various nationalities. When their smaller boat started tanking in the water, they were forced to jump ship. The victims were provided with water, food, life jackets, and blankets after being evaluated by the medical team. They were safely transferred to a Coast Guard officer.
A Canadian couple got married at the US-Canadian border so family and friends of both countries could attend. Despite travel restrictions caused by COVID-19 pandemic, the pair tied the knot on the pier along the St. Croix River in New Brunswick, surrounded by loved ones watching from the pier, as well as family watching from across the river in Calais, Maine.
Its Steal a Base, Steal a Taco giveaway is returning for a 9th year in a row. Through the Taco Bell app, rewards members can get a free Doritos Locos taco if a base is stolen during the series. The company says that this year, the free tacos can be redeemed just hours after the first base is stolen.
A letter from the Beatles' manager is going up for auction. The letter discusses getting rid of the band's original drummer, Pete Best. In 1960, the internationally famous band, the Beatles, formed. Brian Epstein signed the band 2 years later, but was soon dismissed. In the letter, Epstein expresses, quote, sincere wishes for Best's future. The letter is expected to cost nearly $1,300, and it could still go for more.
Take a quick look at sports with Brian Rudman.
But thanks, guys. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll take a look at a crazy couple of days in the NFL, as well as the latest from the MLB bubble down in Arlington, Texas. All this and more coming up. You're watching WTOP 10 Nightly News. We'll be right back. Welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm Brian Rudman with your Monday Night Sports Report. Starting right here in Central New York as the Syracuse University football team struggled to continue this past Saturday, falling to the Liberty University Flames by a score of 38-21. The loss makes the Orange 1-4 on the season, the team's worst 5-game start since 2008 when they started 3-9 and when they went 3-9 overall, It was the CUSE defense that really struggled against the Flames' rushing attack, allowing 338 yards on the ground and 4 touchdowns. The road does not get any easier for the Orange as they will make a trip to Death Valley this Saturday to face off with the number 1 ranked Clemson Tigers. From a struggling college team to a struggling NFL team as the New York Jets made it their worst start since 1996, losing to the Miami Dolphins 24-0 yesterday and making the team 0-6. The Jets' offense looked terrible, being held scoreless for the first time this season, despite winning the time of possession and the turnover battle. With the loss, the Jets are now the only team in the NFL this season to remain winless through 6 games. The Jets return to action next Sunday at home against the Buffalo Bills. And speaking of those Bills, earlier tonight they faced off with the reigning champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, in some early Monday Night Football action. The Bills were looking to bounce back after a tough loss on the road to the Tennessee Titans last week, but were unable to do so. It was the Chiefs taking the 26-17 victory over the Bills. KC was led by Travis Kelce, who hauled in 2 first-half touchdowns before the run game took over in the second half. This makes 2 losses in a row for Buffalo. As mentioned earlier, their next game is against the New York Jets. Headed back down to MetLife Stadium as yesterday the New York Giants were finally able to get into the win column, beating the Washington football team 20-19. It came down to the fourth quarter with about 3 minutes and 30 seconds left when the Giants had a big scoop and score by Tate Crowder to give them a 20-13 lead. But it was not over as Washington was able to drive down the field and score a touchdown. And while it looked like we were heading for overtime, Washington went for 2, but the Big Blue defense was able to hold strong, and they went on to win the game. For Giants head coach Joe Judge, it's his first career win. The Giants have a short week, though, and will face off with the Eagles on Thursday night. Switching now to the Diamond, as last night we saw Game 7 of the NLCS between the LA Dodgers and the Atlanta Braves. Let's head down to Arlington to see who gets to go to the World Series.
We pick things up in the top of the second. 1-0 Atlanta already, and Dansby Swanson's going to extend that lead. Goes deep to left center. That one's reaching the second deck. It's a home run. 2-0 Braves, but the Dodgers would answer right back. Bottom third, 2 on, 2 outs. Will Smith delivers again in the clutch single up the middle. That's going to score 2. Max Muncy coming home hard, and he's going to score. It's all tied up at 2. Jump to the top of the fourth now. Braves answer back. Austin Riley bloop single to center. Ozzy Alsby comes flying around third. He's going to score. It's 3-2 Braves. Now in the fifth, Freddie Freeman trying to extend that lead. He's going to go deep to right, but guess who's back there waiting? It's Mookie Betts. He's going to fly up, brings this one back into the yard. It's still 3-2, and that would pay off. Kike Hernandez now in the bottom of the sixth. He goes deep. We're all tied up at 3. Jump to the next inning. Now Cody Bellinger, 8th pitch of the at-bat, and no doubt about it, he knew it right off the bat. It's 4-3 Dodgers. Look at him stare that one down as it left the yard. That's all the Dodgers would need. Now top of the 9th, 2 outs, and Austin Riley can't get it done this time. Cody Bellinger, who else is going to make that final out? The Dodgers win this one 4-3. They win the series in 7. They'll take on the Rays starting Tuesday in the World Series.
Thank you so much. And for a final weather check with Michael.
Yeah, guys, I just want to highlight the next 2 days for you guys. So on Tuesday, it's not going to be a complete washout. So it mainly looks like the first half of Tuesday is going to be rainy. And then for this, like the second half of Tuesday, we'll likely see some clearing, especially going into the evening. But then for Wednesday, it's another day of first half of rain, and that gets nicer with those temperatures in the mid-60s. And then we look to warm up again on Friday. But that's all I have for now for the weather, guys. Back to you.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we are all wearing pink, and yes, this is pink, in support of all the women affected by it each year. In the US, 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed in their lifetime, and every 2 minutes, a woman is diagnosed with breast cancer.
Also, women who get regularly screened for breast cancer have a 47% lower risk of dying from the disease compared to those who did not. So make sure you're getting tested. Are there any kind words you would like to share regarding breast cancer awareness?
Well, as you mentioned, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and that doesn't go overlooked in the sports world. The NFL, every year, big on breast cancer awareness. Everyone's wearing pink in October.
Thank you for tuning into WTOP 10 Nightly News.
Have a good night and stay safe, everyone.
The inherent right to work is one of the elemental privileges of a free people. Endowed, as our nation is, with abundant physical resources, and inspired as it should be to make those resources and opportunities available for the enjoyment of all, we approach re-employment with the real hope of finding a better answer than we have now.
Donate to Goodwill, where your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community.
Life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped